right? Like, it's such an important part of the whole thing, and people don't think about that as much. It's like, obviously great writing and everything as well, but when you cast the right person, it just works, and they embody that character, right? And it just makes our job so much easier too. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, getting your heart broken by Asterion, you just end up as a talking fish in Warframe. That's
the ultimate payback.
Payback.
Yeah, the team that worked on that, the writing, everything was just really lovely to behold and watch it come together.
Let's check in on our cast of critters now.
Hey, how's it going? Are we winning? We all got something to do. Mr. Fishinachi's got his thing. Mr. Techfer's got his thing. I got my thing. It's so nice.
Another day, another Netracell, another poke in the eye for the mother hugger that consigned us to this mess. Come on, let's roll.
What flesh is within that
Are we heading out then?
Warframe? I will crush it. I will fill my lungs.
A new day dawns. Let us to work. Yes, go good.
These radio towers carry top-secret interplanetary communications. You are going to capture the towers and decode incoming messages.
As you know, we had a follow-up update to Whispers in the Wild and Unbound. Now, the team had a chance to cook up some unique vocals for this update theme, and they bring such a great tone to the update. Matt, tell us a bit about how the process of setting the stage for Page Master Dante went.
Yeah, well, we had a piece that I think we actually showed this at last Tennocon. A friend of mine, Alex combat section, or a combat track out of that section. So I got Alex back over. I wrote a new
Tower
piece
Online
and featured the same melody, but like the combat version of it. And Alex
we are
just nailed it. He had done a bunch of throat singing and stuff for me as well. So he has like the ability to produce beautiful melodic singing, but then he can also do the really intense like low throat singing. So we kind of just found a happy medium, and yeah, his performance was amazing.
I love it. And as you mentioned, the vocalist Alex Samaras does make a return, and we have a behind-the-scenes video of him recording this for the Amazing.
Love it. Such a great melody. It's a great little melody there.
And some more void tone there too. It was actually okay because he's also a jazz tips and bops. So I said like, this is kind of how I'm saying it. Sorry, writers. This is
I know. I feel like jazz just caught so much shade for me also. Like, it's the jazz. sounds. Stofler story, and we kept churning and churning. And then when Mike Skyers proposed the choir frame that you know as Jade, it really made every piece of idea fit together with, oh, okay, Jade and Stalker are in the same update and they have a story together. When I was told that the frame right away, that set in motion a series of sound decisions. And then when the story finished, and kind of like looked over the script, how can you make this work? Because I don't think there's any way that the story we told in Jade Shadows would have worked with, like, of course, you know, if you can't hear it, that's of course fine. But the music was an artistic choice to pair with the animations.
Try
that you
and
can
capture
see.
another
So
signal.
that,
Be careful,
yeah.
though. The enemy has
we took
surely
that
rallied
theme and
stronger
ran with it.
reinforcements.
And with the theme for Jade Shadows specifically, I think we wanted to bring together a lot of themes from older parts of Warframe as well. So we're bringing in, you know, Stalker's theme, Jade's theme, tying it together with, you know, the Naga drums. So there's a lot of pieces that we wanted to incorporate into this.
A radio
so
tower.
kind of this big ball of stuff, and eventually throwing that over the map. And then when I heard, you know, Matt's first draft, it was like, yes, this is totally going to work.
We
The
are
big
in
beautiful
total
section
control.
where the choir
Keep
kind of
fighting.
swells and extends. Yeah, it was kind of great from the get-go. And then after that, it was just like polishing it up and working on different production elements.
Love it. And you guys get to work with the choir and did 40 sessions of that. How was that experience for you with the for you guys?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I love being able to go to a studio and record live anything, any musicians, vocalists, and this is a special Oh yeah, okay, that's perfect. That's way better than the MIDI. That was just a placeholder. And yeah.
You have a sound.
I'm audio lead at Digital Extremes. I've been here for coming up on 10 years. I'm here to talk about the music and sound effects for Jade Shadows. I'm Mark Kirkland. I'm a second designer on Warframe here at Digital Extremes. I've been here for just about 5 years. I've got a choir background myself, so when I heard that there was going to be the choir frame, I asked Eric if I could take the sound design.
While you're up there, you can also pass those, so we need to keep it all in the same board.
When Mark was kind of workshopping his ideas for the choir, he had wanted to record a live choir. We were going to do it separately, but after I'd spoken to Matt and we decided to record a choir for the music, then we thought it was just a natural progression to do a session and the sound effects. That choral aspect for sure, but we also wanted there to be a bit of dissonance. Strange colors. So there's lots of off-key singing, lots of whisper shouting from the choir. So we kind of played with all sorts of different vocal effects, chords, and notes. We wanted to tap into the strange sounds that they were able to produce. The choir is so talented that whenever we would suggest ideas or want to try different ideas, they could reproduce that very quickly on the fly. It felt like sort of having your own live synthesizer, except they're human beings and they're amazing.
Cool. Was the tuning of those chords okay? All good?
Eric definitely had some great direction as to how he wanted the frame
overall to sound. I had some specific ideas for the 4 abilities that I wanted to hear, and then Matt was able to pull that all together in a very musical way, and in a way that fits with the music that we'd also recorded for Jade. All of the notes that you hear in the frame's abilities are all in the same key and in one chord, actually, that fit really well with the music that we'd already recorded. Whenever you're in the studio recording, the magic and the feel that you get from live musicians, you just can't reproduce that. So that's something that we'll definitely be looking to do for score again in the future.
Amazing. Now, Mark, a choir background.
Oh.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Yes. Shout out to Amabile Choirs of Canada. Yeah.
Nice.
Local, very renowned local choir here. I grew up singing.
As
so
ready
I've got
as you
background
will
in that.
ever
I was
be.
very excited when I heard about Jade. I absolutely wanted to grab the sound design for her.
How come I'm only finding out about this now, Mark? Where have you been hiding this?
It's a secret.
Might have come up in an interview, George.
Oh. What were some of the specific things from your time in a choir that jumped out when you were making the ability sounds for Jade?
Sorry, say that again, Zach.
What were some of the things that you had from your time in choir that jumped out right as you were making these abilities?
Honestly, a lot of the sounds in Jade.
This is a mobile defense mission.
That we recorded
You
with
must
Matt
deliver payloads and defend a
on
number
this,
of
that
locations while I
it's
break
really a
into
lot
the
of
network.
vocal warm-ups
Be
that you're
prepared
hearing
for
in
heavy
Jade.
resistance.
It's a lot of
I can't do this without you.
that whisper shouting, the
Keep
dissonance.
going.
It's,
Nobody knows you're here.
People loosening up their voices, and you just get some really cool, creative sounds when they're doing that. And they play off each other as well. Yeah, it's just something that you need live singers to do. Like Eric said, you can't just use a synthesizer for that.
I love it. Right. Let's move on to our
I need
next
access
topic,
to a terminal.
Weapons and warframes.
Find one and patch me
If
in.
you've seen the dev stream before, we
Here
love
is a
taking a look
terminal.
at how certain weapons
Get
and
me
warframes
in
are made
and
if
get
you
ready
use
to
them with us
defend.
of our sound designers. And we do have a few videos for you today covering all things
I'm
Jade
in, Tenno.
Shadows. But before we dive
This
in,
will take a moment.
if you had a chance to make some of these videos for Jade as you were talking about, how did that
I guess just coming back to the choral background, for Jade, I had a sense right out of the it wasn't something that I had to figure out and sit down and, workshop. I had a pretty good sense in my own mind of the type of sound we were going for, and it's pretty similar to what we hear. And then for the more
Still working
bring
on
that
it.
into the
Continue to defend.
Warframe language of sound design, Eric had some great design direction there as well. And in terms of dealing with the choir themselves, I mean,
Stay focused.
Matt's the
There's a
choir
heavy
whisperer
unit
over here.
approaching.
He was able to take what was in my head and just communicate it to them in just an incredible way and try out some new things too.
Well, Mark had a lot of great ideas, and I would just be like, okay, let's try that, and then basically direct them to a wave or a pitch or something. I'd be like, if I go up, we're all going up, or if I'm like going up on this side and down on this side. So we just like got them all doing a bunch of
We are
experiments,
finished
and,
here.
and you'll hear
Move on.
it in the upcoming videos. They were put to good use.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a great library of sounds now with this choir. You're going to hear a lot of it even later on today and some of the 1999 stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Hell yeah.
Well, let's take a listen to what you picked up.
Hey, I'm Mark, and I'm a sound designer here at Digital Extremes. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the sounds behind Jade's third ability.
Let's take a quick listen to how the ability sounds in-game. Now let's check out the Reaper session so
Terminal
we can peel back
spotted.
the layers that make
Upload
up this
me and
ability
prepare
sound.
to defend.
Let's take a listen to just the choral sounds in this ability.
I'm in, Tenno.
Now let's mute the choir
This
to
will
hear
take a
everything
moment.
else. That's good, but what really makes Jade special is all that choir. And so here's how that fits in. First, we have the initial impact. this is made up of a shout, some harsh whispers, and the choir singing a chord. We also have this sustained section, which represents the eyes that surround Jade during this ability. And making up this section, we have another more dissonant
Still
choir
working
chord
on it. Continue to defend.
and some more sustained choir whispers. Now let's listen to these without any effects to get a better sense of how the choir
Stay
sounds on
focused.
their own.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
That's incredible, but we still want to add a bit of movement. There are a handful of plugins on each of these tracks, but this spin tracer is really doing some heavy lifting. It's kind of like a granular synth meets Doppler, and it has some pretty good visuals to show how we're throwing whispers all around to add some movement. Now that we have Jade's voice nailed down, let's take a quick listen to
Area
the other
completed.
layers that make
Move
up
on.
a lot of the impact and sci-fi elements of Jade's sound. We have our LF layer, truly a must for any Warframe. Some glass impacts with delay added for fantastical vibes, and some mid-frequency synth to round it all out. With an ear for these elements on their own,
Location
let's
reached.
take one last listen
Drop
to
me
the
in
ability
and defend
in-game.
our position. I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
The whispering is making it very hard to play Jade late at night because they're all underhanded. Someone's behind me. Awesome. Of course, this update also included a fan page for the Stalker. Yeah, cheers for the Stalker. I love the Stalker. But more importantly, Stalker generously donated the movement for his sick ride in the new Stalker landing craft.
Still working on it. Continue to
sound
defend.
designer Chris Desera is going to take us behind the scenes on how the sounds were made for this one-of-a-kind landing craft.
Hey everyone, it's Chris from the sound team. Today I want to show you how I did the sound design for Stalker's Terror landing craft skin. Let's go. For the Terror landing craft, I wanted to have sound elements that sound harmonious and powerful, just like Stalker. I also wanted it to be completely recognizable as Stalker's ship. But first, I needed realistic sounds for the landing craft skin. Lucky for me, our team recorded jet sounds at the London Air Show a few years back. I used these jet flybys as
The odds were against us, Tenno, but we did it. Mission complete. I'm detecting a large security force
Thanks,
heading
guys.
your way. It's
First,
the
use the
Grenier.
jet sounds on their own. And some low-frequency droning and some aggressive thruster sounds. Now let's stalkerize it.
Your sentence is death.
I started with the Stalker bowfire sound. First, I time stretched it, then I added some processing, then I ramped the pitch up over the course of the sound. Next, I took samples of Stalker's breathing, I pitched it down, and I added some processing.
What flesh is within that Warframe?
And here's the final result, the Terror landing craft taking off.
Fill my lungs.
And there you have it. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of Tennocon.
A distant colony
Love
has
it.
been under
Thanks,
fire
Chris.
from the Queen's
Thanks.
fortress.
Chris
for
is here
days.
right now somewhere.
Chris
Destroy
here?
the Queen's
Don't kill
experimental
yourself,
Navar
Chris.
cannon and send
Thank
the
you.
Grenier a message.
Now we did have a taste of some Stalker
Pick up that
gameplay with the
multicoil.
Degree Paralyzed
You'll use it
last
to
year,
breach the
but his
gates.
abilities got a fresh take in Jade Shadows. Sound designer Giovanni Agapito is going to show us how those abilities work.
Right now, the Navar cannon is just a menace.
Hey,
But
Tenno,
once the
my name
Grenier
is
switch to
Giovanni and I'm
Tectonic
sound designer
munitions,
at
it will
the
become capable
Today
of
I'm
obliterating
going to show you
colonies
how
in a
I
single
created
shot.
sounds of war in the Stofler.
Plant the multicoil on the doors.
First, let's listen to the
The
sound.
multicoil is superheating the locking mechanism. Defend it and attack.
For the Stofler, we wanted to maintain the balance between a very fierce character, like an overall dark spot, but at the same time without losing the game's sonic power. For the punishment ability, I created 3 sounds that play at the beginning, middle, and end
The
of it.
gates are down.
Let's hear
Get
the
to the
first
Navar
of these
cannon.
sounds. This one has some really cool layers. For example, this energy layer that has a
The
pitch
Grineer know we're
automation
here for the
and
cannon.
becomes more
They're
acute
priming
over
one
time,
last shot with a
creating a
tectonic
sonic
round that is
tension
capable
until
of
the
destroying
Stalker
the
releases
colony
the
in one hit.
projectiles at the
Do
end.
not let that happen.
For the build-up sound, there are more tonal and sci-fi elements, as you can notice. One of the layers has a really cool automation in one of the plugins,
You've reached
which
the
makes
cannon.
the sound
Shut
becomes
it
a
down
riser
before it
until
fires
the
the
last sound
tectonic
is
shot.
played. Let's hear the sound of projectiles being released at enemies. For that, I created several whooshes using my own mouth and made them very high-pitched, distorting each layer a little to contribute to a more sci-fi vibe. After putting all together,
You did it.
this is what
the
the
Navar cannon
punishment
is out of
ability sounds
operation,
like
but you're
in-game.
not done yet. Find the command center. The command center controls the Navar cannon's telemetry systems. Use it to take out that galleon.
So that's it. Thank you very much for
This
watching this
is the
behind
command
the scenes,
center.
and I hope
You'll
you
need to
enjoyed the
locate
rest of
all
the show.
3 of the telemetry
Bye.
keys.
Thanks, Giovanni.
That's the first key.
All right. Before we move on, we
You
actually
found
have
a
an
key.
audience question.
Take it to the
All the
console.
way back from a Dev Shorts in April. The question is, what is your go-to software for creating these sounds? Do you have a plugin or tool that you can't live without? I'll start with you, Eric. Unless, Rev,
Good.
you've been
One
doing
more to
some
go.
sound design lately?
Hey, I just do what Eric tells me
That's
when
it.
it comes to
We have
sound, so
triangulation.
get in the booth,
Protect
cry,
the console while
cry
I
some more.
reprogram the cannon's telemetry.
We use well, I use a program called Reaper. I think most of the team does too. Matt, you use Logic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we use Reaper as our DAW. That's what you saw on the screen in the video. And yeah, my favorite plugin is the L2 limiter. So I cannot live without that. So,
Did they pay you to say it?
Yeah, L2 has lots of money. I'm milking every drop I can get out of that.
He's also got shares in Spin Tracer.
That's right. Another one that I probably put on, it's in every session, almost every track. Kilohertz has this little
Done.
plugin called
The cannon's
Haas,
telemetry has been
and
reconfigured. Return to the
basically
cannon
what that
and
does
pull the
is
trigger.
just delays your left or right channel by anywhere from a few to 100 milliseconds and spreads your stereo image.
So you can turn any mono sound into a stereo sound, is what you're saying.
I think it already needs to be. No, you're right.
Direct
That's my
hit.
boss.
The galleon
You're
has
right.
been obliterated. Now return to the telemetry
hired.
system and
Yeah.
make sure the cannon stays silent.
Yeah, for me, I think Q3. I really love Pro Q3. Just
The targeting
great EQ.
mechanism is out
I
of
like
commission.
microshift as
The
well.
cannon
and
is
I use that
useless
on
now. The Grineer will
all
think
the
long
Prime
and hard
trailers
before trying
to
to
widen the
use this weapon
voices
again.
and stuff. But you know, at the end of the day, we get this question a lot too. But it's important to just not think too much about plugins and software and everything. It's like it's more about what you put into it and where do you start with, what the sounds you start with. Again, like the voice acting, it all starts with good source. Right? So you have good source going in, and that's the big thing, and then the creativity behind it. Yeah, don't let that limit you in your creativity if you don't have a certain plugin, for sure. So.
I think the analogy that probably a lot of people here would understand, it's easy to digest, is if you've ever played the vocal patch on an electric keyboard and you can hear the ahs, it doesn't sound like a real choir, but going back to the real choir that we were able to record and that source, that's what we're talking about when we talk about having good sources.
It's always unique, right? It's always a unique performer. It's in a unique space. It's a unique delivery. It's always going to feel different, and it's the magic there, right? The magic of the performance and of the sonic fingerprint, really. Yeah, it's so important for sure.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to a little plugin called Little Altar Boy. It was used a ton on anytime I need to have really low vocals and I'm doing it myself and I can't sing a certain low note. You can pitch it down, but